The origins of WildCare's environmental education programs started in the 1950s with Mrs. Elizabeth Terwilliger. Mrs. T taught nature education to children in Marin County and beyond, using her signature teaching methods. She knew that the key to protecting wildlife was in educating children and nurturing a deep love for nature in them. The Wildlife Hospital began as a natural history museum in the 1950s when the WildCare Museum building, then the parish hall for a local church, was moved to its current Albert Park Lane location. As the population in the Bay Area expanded, it became clear that there was a need for a true wildlife hospital in Marin County, and the Marin Wildlife Center opened its doors in 1974. "20 years later, in 1994, these like-minded groups joined forces to become WildCare as we know it today.
When I first encountered WildCare, I was living out at on the beach at Stinson Beach, and there had been a red tide out off the coast, and there were seabirds rolling in the surf out there on the sand, and I didn't know about WildCare at that time, and I called the Marin Mammal Center and asked them. And so they directed me to WildCare, and I've been involved with WildCare ever since.
Today, this unique and effective organization grows from strength to strength with community engagement and ever-expanding influence. And all of this is achieved while facing significant challenges in a deteriorating facility that WildCare has long since outgrown. Staff and volunteers working elbow to elbow in cramped spaces. Flooding that fills animal enclosures and requires evacuation of our wildlife patients. Sweltering heat in rooms without air conditioning or insulation. Blackouts from rolling PG&E outages.
I was frankly amazed at what could be accomplished, the veterinary care that could be accomplished in such a just by the seat of your pants facility. As a volunteer, it made the job harder to do because things hadn't been necessarily designed with how with their intended use. So I admired the ingenuity of the staff and the volunteers at coming up with solutions that were needed when an animal presented a more or less unique situation.
I'll tell you, the people at WildCare are from the reception staff to the permanent staff, the volunteers, the veterinarians. Everybody, their heart is really in every job they do, and it's genuine. You can feel it when you go there. You can feel it in the events. You can feel it when they bring out the wildlife ambassadors, and it's an amazing organization, and everybody in it is amazing in their own way.
I think the new facility that WildCare is planning to build is going to absolutely be transformational for the organization. So if you have facilities that are designed with both humans who are interacting with the animals and the animals themselves, I think you're going to have, again, better outcomes. You'll have less burnout in your volunteers, and you'll probably have better outcomes, speedier outcomes for the animals.
What WildCare does for me is it educates me about the local wildlife and how I can safely and respectfully share space with it. So I'm really looking forward to the day my granddaughter is old enough so we can visit WildCare together, and probably in their new facility.